going to show you
Why fast food sucks now. Let's
a
see.
few different modern fast food locations with the logos removed, and I want to see if you can guess which restaurant it is. Here is number 1.
Taco Bell.
That is Panda Express.
Okay.
Here is number 2.
In-N-Out.
That is Arby's. Here is number
Okay.
3.
That's Taco Bell.
That is Burger King. Here is number 4.
Wendy's.
That is Wendy's.
Okay, I got the red.
Fast food restaurants in America have completely lost their identity, but it doesn't stop at these soulless gray buildings. Fast food used to be cheap, tasty, and most importantly, fast. And on top of that, the experience used to be fun. Today, the color is gone. The prices for a meal are almost the same as a regular restaurant, and the service is slower than ever. But this did not happen by accident. In fact, it's all by design. And today I'm going to break down why fast food today is colorless, expensive, and slow. And while it might sound like all hope is lost, there is something you can do to change it. And if enough of us do that, we just might be able to return to the glory days. Modern American fast food buildings are the perfect representation of the soul that's been sucked out of the industry. What used to be these creative architectural fun houses have transformed into sterile gray boxes that are severely lacking identity. Some of them kind of look like modern homes, some of them look like banks, some of them just look like corporate offices. But when you remove the logo, you genuinely could not tell what restaurant it was. Compare that to what this architectural illustrator posted on Reddit. Even without the logos, you can still tell which building belongs to each fast food brand. Or can you? I'll see if in the comments one of you gets all 12 correct.
Hold on, that's a challenge. Pizza Hut? Either, I think KFC, McDonald's, White Castle, I don't know, Cracker Barrel, In-N-Out, okay, I don't know, Culver's? I don't think I've actually been to these. I don't know what that is. I can't even guess. Checkerbox or something? Checkerboard? I forget what that one's called. I feel like I've seen that though. I got no clue what this is. I don't know if I've ever seen this. And this one looks like a school
food brand. Or can you? I'll see if in the comments one of you gets all 12 correct. Early Taco Bell locations were designed to evoke the look and feel of traditional Spanish and Mexican style architecture. The original buildings featured stucco walls, red clay tile roofs, exposed wooden beams, and arched entryways. Now, you get a gray box with a modern purple LED light.
That looks like a T-Mobile building.
Pizza Hut's red roof became such an iconic part of their design that now when a new business takes over the building and attempts to redesign, everyone knows it used to be a Pizza Hut. But today's Pizza Hut, yep, another gray box. McDonald's used to have these big glowing arches you could see from a mile away. I was surprised to find out that there are still a few locations that maintain that 1960s vintage look. Take this Bloomington, Minnesota location for example. It still has the massive arches on each side, the red and white striped bricks around the edges, and red outline gives it this cartoonish but welcoming vibe. But sometime in 2023, they decided to get rid of all that charm and paint it gray. During McDonald's nationwide boom in the 1970s, they made a major rebrand to build locations faster. The red mansard roofs with the yellow accents that were supposed to resemble French fries is what most people remember visiting throughout their childhood. There are still a few locations out there that haven't been modernized. This one in Dunedin, Florida looks absolutely beautiful with the palm trees and the bright blue sky. Or check out this stunning Durham, North Carolina location.
Also, fantasizing over this when you think about it, this is just a bunch of like trillion-dollar corporations that don't care. Like, they have no reason to care because they're still succeeding.
This photo was taken in 2021, but it looks like we took a time machine back to 1993. Sadly, this one was also painted entirely gray in 2024. Even this location outside of Disney World looked like a theme park of its own. And I'm sad to admit that this creative masterpiece has been replaced by what looks like a corporate headquarters.
Is that even finished?
Now, one of the main reasons behind the gray box trend is that it's a safer, smarter real estate investment. This strategy leans heavily on modular construction and prefab standardized architecture. When a previous brand needed a very specific build out, which usually came down to their custom roofs, it just cost more. And in a way, they're also preparing for their imminent failure because these vague buildings can be transformed into just about any other business. In New Jersey, this Wendy's was transformed into a Burger King. They have so much money. In Missouri, this old Burger King was turned into a Wendy's.
They really care.
This former Taco Bell KFC combo was turned into a local pharmacy. And this former former Arby's is now a local pizzeria. And to no surprise
That's
at all,
better
the
than an
local
Arby's.
pizzeria made a more charming and
Yeah,
visually
see?
interesting design. Now, my
So it's trillion dollar companies that serve slop, and they're like, let's save more money by being ugly in buildings.
favorite is when chains
Let's have
actually
ugly
do the
buildings
opposite of this, when they
with
repurpose an old
no
building,
charm.
like this old bank in
Probably some
Wilmington,
like
North
money.
Carolina that was
I've seen a few of
transformed
these.
into a Dunkin'
I don't mind
Donuts. It's undeniably smarter and probably more sustainable to build buildings that can outlive the brand inside them, which will in turn reduce waste and provide opportunity to future businesses. But there's just something sad about it too. Each restaurant lost all its character, but it's not just the exterior that lost its character. The interior is where many of these places thrived. Stepping inside used to feel like entering a little world of its own. Taco Bell had these purple and teal Art Deco chairs, textured wall tiles, and neon squiggles that felt like walking through
I never got to
arcade.
see the Taco Bell
People
glory
today would
days.
probably call this tacky, and they might not be wrong, but damn, it has an identity. But before we dive deeper, the other day I wasted hours trying to cancel all those subscriptions I forgot about. Luckily, today's sponsor, Rocket Money, is here to help. Rocket Money is an all-in-one personal finance. Your bank, select the app's premium features. Take control of your started for frilled walls, stained glass, immaculate 1970s grandma aesthetic, wood paneled walls, stained glass feel more like 19, or click the link in the description to get started for free. Wendy's had an immaculate 1970s grandma aesthetic. Wood
that's not
paneled
actually
walls,
Wendy's.
stained glass lamps hanging above every table, plush burgundy booths, and soft yellow lighting that made it feel more like a cozy living room than a fast food joint. And these sunrooms? Dude, these sunrooms absolutely ripped. Pizza Hut felt like a legit sit-down restaurant with thick carpeting, red vinyl booths, and those iconic Tiffany-style lamps that turned every meal into a dimly lit occasion. McDonald's had burger seats. Look at these burger seats.
I don't think I ever got to see
those. Are they a little terrifying? Sure, but I think we can all agree that we want them back. And when management started encouraging a more kid-friendly atmosphere, almost every franchisee built massive playgrounds and indoor sets packed with massive tubes, nets,
and those are all basically shut down
while the adults got
I've seen
to enjoy their meal.
like 3
However,
of those
for
in the
years,
past.
McDonald's had been dealing with injury lawsuits where kids hurt themselves climbing around rope ladders and
okay, that's also people's. That's like people's fault for being like, oh yeah, my kid is a bozo.
Monkey bars.
Injured themselves.
In a 5-year span alone, from 1986 to 1991, 1,500 injury claims were filed against McDonald's when kids fell off their equipment or got trapped in one of their structures. Hundreds, if not thousands, of injuries went unreported, and not to mention the sanitation concerns. Even as a kid, I knew those things were filthy. Some places have still tried to hang on to that old school charm well into the 2020s. I found this 1950s retro diner-inspired McDonald's location in Williamsburg, Virginia. They have a whole-ass 1957 Chevy on the inside just parked in the middle of the restaurant. This beautiful time capsule location was, you guessed it, grayed out and turned into another modernized hospital cafeteria.
Okay, also, what is the reasoning? If they're keeping the building and they're renovating to make it look ugly, why not just keep it the way it looked?
A few years ago,
point in renovating
a location in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn was redesigned to a 1980s theme for a Marvel movie, and to no surprise at all, everyone loves it.
It's like a heavy-duty tax
write-off or something. True time capsule. It's just enough retro and modern combined to give the place a lot more soul. And if you're watching this and you have a fast food location near you that still has some old school charm, drop it in the comments because I want to see. But the blueprint for the modern fast food gray box, the minimalism, the neutral tone textured wallpaper, the IKEA chairs that hurt to sit in, the inoffensive abstract art, the dim industrial lighting, it can all be blamed on Chipotle. Chipotle's early 2000s
Okay, no, I'm one of the OG Chipotle haters. I feel like Chipotle needs more hate.
Marked a turning point in the fast food industry. Their concept was called fast casual. You still got your food quickly, but the experience felt more elevated. The menu was...
It's literally the Mexican food version of Subway.
Simple, the ingredients were marketed as fresher, and the interiors ditched the kid-friendly chaos in favor of something more modern. Because of this, they were able to charge a higher price, and teenagers, college kids, and young professionals were more than willing to pay. But they weren't just paying for vibes. Those 2010s Chipotle burritos were massive. You used to get at least 2 servings of food for one price, which made it comparable to 2 fast food trips. Chipotle's success came at a time when McDonald's and other giants were on a rapid decline. decline. In 2003, McDonald's stock price fell to a 9-year low, and in Q4 of 2023 was the first net loss in profits they ever had, losing $344 million. Public pressure around junk food intensified during this period. The Super Size Me documentary further tarnished the company's brand. The doc followed Morgan Spurlock, who ate at McDonald's restaurants 3 times a day every day for a month, consuming every item on the chain's menu at least once. At the end,
doing that today would actually probably cost just as much as like groceries.
End of the
That's 3 like $18 meals a day.
Experiment, the 32-year-old had gained 24.5 pounds, a 13% body mass increase, increased his cholesterol to dangerous levels, and became the proof the media needed to paint fast food as the face of America's obesity crisis. So while McDonald's scrambled to repair its image, Chipotle was thriving, offering a cleaner, simpler, healthier experience that looked and felt like the opposite of everything fast food had become. In response, McDonald's started the Forever Young campaign to transform the playground feel into a cafe-style space. What resulted was a push for a more contemporary aura, accented by terracotta, olive, and gray colors paired with wooden furniture. Of course, other fast food restaurants saw this change and followed suit. I also believe that the success of Starbucks and maybe even the Apple Store had a big impact on the aesthetics of fast food chains. Starbucks proved that people would pay a premium price to hang around in a space that felt upscale. And Apple taught the entire retail world that an ultra-minimalist design could signal trust and quality. Today, seemingly every fast food chain takes a little bit of inspiration from Chipotle, Starbucks, and the Apple Store, which has majorly contributed to them losing what made them special in the first place. Fast food restaurants were meant to be bold, fun, and kid-friendly, or even calm and cozy sit-downs for the family. But designers Lynn Rosenbaum and Michael Muchoff told the YouTube channel that the design choices are nothing more than a marketing tactic.
We have to be perceived as new and fresh and offering food that is new and fresh. What has changed within our restaurant?
Is this about Wendy's and they just showed salmon?
On the outside,
what restaurant is
the easiest way to do that is through architecture and interior design.
How can we make it look healthier, but not actually make it healthier? That's basically the gist. I don't think any logical person is expecting fast food to be healthy, but the risk used to be worth the reward. Because beyond the building design and modern branding, it seems like they aren't even trying to make the food look or taste good.
I need money, you don't.
Burgers aren't even close to as advertised, with buns flat as a pancake and lettuce that looks like it was left out all night. Places like KFC refuse to change the oil in their fryers, so you can't even taste the chicken anymore.
That's gross.
And those so-called crispy fries you ordered look like they were defrosted, placed under a heat lamp, and served without anyone noticing they missed a crucial step.
I don't know,
even
Burger King fries.
YouTuber The Report of the Week, who has spent the past decade reviewing fast food menu items just about how to melt down over the decline in quality and service across every big chain in the U.S.
That doesn't even seem like a real person.
Experiences in 2023.
I don't believe this is a real human.
Instances not as bad as this, but where there have been problems with my order, with the quality, it's just elapsing more and more. And it's not just Culver's. It's every place. McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Taco Bell.
Nothing to do with his looks, but this could be an alien from outer space, and he's on Earth just to investigate the food. And like his first interaction with food is that everybody loves fast food, so that's where everyone goes.
Well, you name it. There have been so many places, and I'm sure you've noticed this, that I've reviewed in the last couple years, where the food has just been awful.
He speaks like an alien that learned English, kind of.
I hate when this happens, and what bothers me even more is when it's becoming more and more of the norm. When I'm trying out these sorts of items, and time and again, it's some burnt piece of garbage. It's some just vile slop, for lack of a better word. And it's getting to the point now that pretty much every other item that I review is just, it's disgusting in some way or another. Or it's just so overpriced that it might be alright, but it's like you're burning your money.
Wendy's baked potato?
But even if fast food companies lost the fun, lost the undeniable guilty pleasure taste, at least it's still cheap, right? Nope. Chick-fil-A, Arby's, Wendy's, Jimmy John's, Chipotle, Taco Bell,
100%
Popeyes,
increase?
and McDonald's all raised their prices
That's
by
actually insane.
55 to 100% between 2014 and 2024. Most
McDonald's
of us
isn't even
remember
worth
a
it
time
anymore.
where $5
It
could
doesn't
fill
even
you up at
taste
most
good. Like, what do you
restaurants.
say?
Maybe
It
you'd
doesn't
snag
taste
a
good,
couple
and
of
it's
grillers or a fill-up box from
100%
Taco Bell,
price
a
it used to be.
McDouble, McChicken, and fries, a famous bowl from KFC, and even if you wanted to get full meals, you'd still spend less than $10. What I found shocking is that Columbus, Ohio has the most affordable fast food in the country, but meals still cost $10 on average.
And you live in Ohio.
Most cities average 12 to 13 bucks for a fast food meal, and I can say with certainty, at least where I live, that there are plenty of local restaurants serving way better food for $13. Some McDonald's locations were charging as high as $18 for a Big Mac meal. In 2024, the McDonald's president Joe Erlinger attempted to address many of the concerns that Americans had with McDonald's prices significantly rising. What's funny is that they made this graphic that claims to debunk a bunch of myths, while claiming that the facts state that they have only raised their prices by 20 to 40% since 2019. Like they put this obnoxious claim as a myth. McDonald's medium fries increased by 138%, just to attempt to soften the blow when they say that the fact is that the average price of a medium fries was a 44% increase. Like we're supposed to be like, oh, only a 44% increase for fries that are soggy, cold, and take 20 minutes
numbers
to
go
get?
in one year in,
that's so
out
much
the
better
other.
than
I'm not
138%.
really.
The reality is that fast
I'm not
food has
computing.
entirely changed its value proposition to customers in America. It's
What
no
is that
longer
Burger
about
King?
being cheap, it's about being lazy. A professor of marketing at Johns Hopkins said, "These chains are not charity organizations. They are not trying to serve cheap food to people who are complaining about high prices. They're trying to get people who have either stopped going to the store or never went there." I suspect the
Now it's a loop because the people that could only afford like McDonald's instead of groceries. Actually, I don't know if that was anybody. But they're like stuck in the cycle. Like they're still going to McDonald's and wasting their money when they could. Actually, I don't know. At this point in time, I don't know.
value pricing
about
approach is
grocery
working
prices.
for McDonald's. Okay. So they killed the vibes, ruined the taste, charge way too much money. Is it at least still fast? Well, kinda. The speed of service has
it's actually not.
drastically
I went to a drive-thru. Literally, one person in front of me, one person behind me, and my order takes like 15 minutes. Like they're making areas to park after you go through the drive-thru.
decreased as Americans
Really?
become more dependent on the drive-thru.
so
America
terrible.
runs on urgency. Our cities are built to drive around, not stop and
They gotta
hang
bring
out
like
in.
a
Our work
like a
weeks are
policy.
packed,
Like if
our
it takes a
commutes
certain
are
amount of time,
long,
it's
and our
free.
breaks are short. Everything in our culture tells us to move faster, work more, and consume more. So we designed an entire meal experience around not having to stop moving. Pull up in your car, order before you speak to a person, get your food in a brown bag, and don't even look inside until you're already merging onto the highway.
And they
Stuff
get
the
orders
fries
wrong
down your
every
throat with
time. Every single time the order's wrong. So you say no mayo, they take a gallon jug and just empty it onto the burger.
with one hand while the other is on the wheel.
It's like they don't
Drive-thrus
even
aren't
care.
about convenience. They're a survival mechanism for a society that doesn't have time to sit down. But now even that convenience is starting to collapse. What used to be a 3 to 5 minute pit stop has turned into a 15+ minute wait behind a line of frustrated drivers. Even places like In-N-Out are facing major
Wendy's.
problems.
I was at a
Lines
Wendy's
that literally
drive-thru
cause
for an
traffic on the
hour.
highways next to them.
It also
Pretty much
was like
every
1
Chick-fil-A
a.m., but
I've ever been to around
who cares?
lunchtime has 2 rows of 20+ cars bumper to bumper. Many locations are trying to combat these frustrating wait times by having
These are
staff
terrible.
walk
I
around
hate
with
when people
iPads so
walk
you
up to
can
your
get
car
that
and they're like,
somewhat satisfaction that your
Raising Cane's. Hey, can I get you some chicken today?
order is being taken care
Who
of,
proved
but
that?
it doesn't make
Nobody-
the food come out any
Just take the order.
faster. Now, you might think that removing drive-thrus in
Workers
some
don't wanna say
locations
that.
or
Orders don't wanna
incentivizing
hear that.
walk-ins would somehow speed things up, but fast food restaurants have done their homework. Research shows that 47% of US consumers would simply avoid going to a store that doesn't have a drive-thru, and twice as many people prefer using the drive-thru to going in store. And that's because of the American go culture, as well as us not prioritizing eating as a meaningful experience. It's just another task to check off
The
the
interactions.
list.
The
Meals in other
interactions are
countries
not
are a
necessary.
cultural staple, a time to slow down, talk, share, and connect. Americans treat eating as something you do out of necessity between meetings, in traffic.
This picture here,
and
that actually makes me want to like sit down and eat and like think about the food I'm eating
You
and
can
enjoy it
treat eating
for some
as
reason.
something you do out of necessity between
This makes me
meetings, in
mad. I hate that
traffic,
picture.
or while staring at your phone. And I'm talking to you, who's literally eating a meal while watching this right now. The obsession with quick service, combined with fast food's obsession with margins, is slowly turning these restaurants into massive robotic garages, like this concept released by Taco Bell in 2022 for their new vision for making service easier than ever before.
Horrible.
Where the new design
I wouldn't even want to go here if it was a gas station, which is what it looks like. I would not go there, even if they were pumping my gas.
2022 for their new vision for making service easier than ever before, or the new designs Chick-fil-A is rolling out that prioritize quick service, or Jimmy John's cutting down the size of their restaurant to resemble more of a studio apartment. To make it even more streamlined, restaurants are releasing AI
Breakfast Baconator? Breakfast Baconator. I've never heard of that.
menu stands that replace human staff members, and the responses have been mixed, with some customers praising the decision and others arguing this is one step further in the wrong direction. So correct orders and no more attitudes for no reason? More jobs with human contact are going away. With fast food restaurants doing everything they can to make service seamless, and Americans demanding even more convenience, how far away are we from a robotic arm extending from a building and just dumping the food right into our mouths? But as grim as the future looks, there is a way to fight this. There is a way to demand change, get better quality food, better prices, better speeds, and an all-around better experience. The solution is quite simple, and it's being implemented all over the world. Fast food is better outside of America, not just by opinion, but by design. Many nations have stricter regulations on food quality, preservatives, and sourcing. In places like Japan, France, or Germany, the ingredients are often fresher, the portions are more balanced, and the presentation is far more respectful of the dining experience. But this change didn't necessarily happen out of respect, it was by force. Like in France, when 5 activist farmers tore down a McDonald's that was being built in the southern town of Malawi in August 1999. They handed out Roquefort cheese at the protest, which they said was to denounce U.S. import restrictions and hormone-treated beef. But this was a calculated attack. In that same week, French farmers dumped 6 tons of manure on a McDonald's restaurant in Carlos. This was a symbol of resistance against American food imperialism and the spread of unhealthy, standardized meals. Disgusting. And it wasn't just about the food, they were defending culture, agriculture, and tradition. And it worked.
Tons different
French
in
consumers began demanding locally sourced ingredients, and McDonald's responded. Today, around 75% of the food served in McDonald's France is sourced domestically. Now, this doesn't mean go and destroy your local McDonald's, but it is proof that a protest goes a long way. Also, McDonald's Europe became the first food service retailer in many markets to sell Marine Stewardship Council certified sustainable fish. The MSC is widely considered the gold standard certification for sustainable wild.
That's why I say whoever in the U.S. is eating those fish fillet or whatever it's called.
Because if they did not meet these standards, then European countries would simply not allow them to serve fish. In India, they mostly don't serve beef or pork items due to religious values held by the citizens. In China, they serve taro pods. Taro is a plant native to Southeast Asia whose roots and leaves are used for food in this region. In Saudi Arabia, 100% of their menu must be halal. Therefore, all products served at McDonald's restaurants are inspected and approved by local authorities and Islamic inspectors at the countries of export. The point is, McDonald's and other fast food restaurants will abide by socio-cultural, religious, food preferences, and environmental factors, or they will simply not be allowed to serve food in that country. And they might even complement the country with a vibey atmosphere. They'll serve food in decommissioned planes in New Zealand, a colorful building pagoda in China, or a ski up in Sweden. The end result?
Mixed skim?
New Zealand, a colorful building pagoda in China, or a ski.
Mixed skim? I hope they fix that. I'm not trying to get a mixed skim.
In Sweden. The end result, better service, better food, better vibes, and customers who treat eating as something worth sitting down for. All of these point to the fact that fast food restaurants can still be colorful, fun, cheap, and have the best quality food available for their meals. It's just that they only change when people finally start to walk away. This is not the answer you want, but it is the truth.
They're not gonna
Sure,
change
the
back.
buildings are gray and bland. Sure,
Nobody's
the service
walking
is
away
slow.
at this point
Sure,
in
the
time.
food
It's
doesn't
just like
taste as good, and corporate
institutionalizing the
greed is
people.
driving up the price. But you can protest. You can just stop going.
No,
They
they
will be
don't
forced
care.
to resort back to the
They
things
really
that
don't
made
care.
these restaurants special in the first
They'll
place.
lower the
But
prices
until
by like
most
50
of us
cents, I
refuse
feel
to
like,
order from these
at
fast food
most.
restaurants, then nothing is going to change.
Good video.
James was
Great video. Patrick CC with another banger. Ba, 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 ba. Outro.